The Voice. Jay Allen's original song for his late mother left Gwen Stefani in tears. Jay Allen's audition on The Voice checked two boxes for fans of the NBC series. It gave country fans a rooting interest for the new season and sparked comedic banter between returning coach Gwen Stefani and her husband, Blake Shelton. Allen earned chair turns from Stefani and Shelton with a soul-stirring cover of Cody Johnson's airplay chart-topping message song, Till You Can't. Following Allen's audition, John Legend joked that the 36-year-old Nashville resident had to pick between these two lovely people who happened to be married to each other. When stating her case, Stefani admitted that a lot of her product knowledge results from in-studio and on-stage duets with the leader of Team Blake. Blake, he's taught me so much about country music, and I got to be on two no-one country hits with Blake Shelton, which was just the most incredible experience of my life, Stefani said. It made me so joyful to recognize that song when it came in, and to hear your voice on it, it was so beautiful. Team Gwen got the nod on a night where Shelton missed out on multiple country singers. New coach Camila Cabello scored her first big wins on the same episode, landing Nashville's Morgan Miles and Cuban cowboy Orlando Mendez. However, Allen's biggest impression came not through his Kojo cover, or as yet another reason for Shelton to get teased by his fellow coaches. The Iowa native explained that the loss of his mother to early-onset Alzheimer's served as motivation to enter the singing competition series. He then left Stefani in tears by performing a snippet of original song Blank Stares, which has helped raise money for the Alzheimer's Association and sparked prior social media buzz. My mother would pick me up every day after school, and she would crank up the local country radio station and roll down the windows, and we would sing at the top of our lungs and laugh all the way back home, he shared. Defiance and fellow country singer Kylie Morgan was part of Allen's cheering section. Allen's blind audition aired Monday, September 19, during The Voice Season 22 premiere. The hit television show The Voice has been a breeding ground for incredible talent, heartfelt performances, and unforgettable moments. However, once in a while, a performance stands out not just for the vocal talent, but for the emotional depth and the personal story behind the song. Such was the case with Jay Allen, a contestant whose original song left the audience in awe, and Gwen Stefani, one of the judges, in tears. A personal tragedy turned into art. Jay Allen's journey on The Voice was deeply rooted in a personal tragedy that many people could relate to: the loss of a loved one to illness. For Allen, it was his mother who had been his guiding light, his biggest supporter, and ultimately his deepest sorrow. His mother, Sherry Rich, had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, a degenerative illness that gradually robs individuals of their memories and cognitive abilities. Allen watched helplessly as the woman who had nurtured him faded into a shadow of her former self. While many would have found it hard to even speak of such a loss, Allen channeled his grief into something truly powerful: music. It was his way of honoring his mother's memory, raising awareness for Alzheimer's, and processing the complex emotions that come with watching a loved one deteriorate. Allen's original song, Blank Stares, was written during this painful period, and it quickly became a testament to the bond between mother and son, a bond that transcended the disease. The build-up to the performance, when Allen auditioned for The Voice, he had already gained some recognition in the country music community. Blank Stares had gone viral a few years earlier, resonating with countless families dealing with Alzheimer's. But performing the song on a stage as big as The Voice was an entirely different experience. The stakes were high, not just because of the show, but because this was a moment where Allen would be sharing his rawest emotions with millions of viewers. In his pre-performance interview, Allen spoke candidly about his mother, describing her as his rock. He shared how, after her diagnosis, music had become a therapeutic outlet for him. He expressed the hope that through his performance, he could not only honor her memory, but also raise awareness about the disease that took her from him. As he took the stage, the audience could sense the weight of the moment. The lights dimmed, and the soft strumming of a guitar filled the room. It was clear that this performance wasn't just about showcasing vocal ability, it was about telling a story. A heart-wrenching performance. When Allen began to sing, the room fell silent. His voice, filled with a combination of sorrow, love, and resilience, seemed to carry the weight of his grief. The lyrics of Blank Stares told the story of watching his mother's mind slip away, of moments when she didn't recognize him, and of the pain of seeing her struggle to remember the life she had lived. The chorus, simple yet devastating, echoed with the plea that so many feel when faced with a loved one's fading memory. "Come back to me, don't you forget me now." Alan's performance was not just technically flawless, but emotionally charged in a way that reached beyond the stage. It wasn't just a song, it was a raw expression of loss, of longing for connection, and of the deep sadness that comes with losing someone slowly over time. The audience, both in the studio and at home, could feel every word, every note, and the profound vulnerability behind them. Gwen Stefani's emotional reaction of all the judges on The Voice. It was Gwen Stefani who was most visibly affected by Alan's performance. Stefani, a seasoned artist known for her emotional depth, was seen wiping away tears as the song progressed. Her reaction wasn't surprising. Alan's performance had a universal appeal that resonated with anyone who had experienced loss, especially the slow, painful kind that Alzheimer's brings. As the final notes of the song hung in the air, there was a moment of silence before the audience erupted in applause. But the camera focused on Stefani, who was clearly struggling to compose herself. When it was her turn to speak, her voice was thick with emotion. "I don't even know how to put into words what I'm feeling right now," she began. "That was one of the most beautiful, heartbreaking performances I've ever seen. Your song, it touched me so deeply. You have such a gift, and I'm just so sorry for your loss." Her words were genuine, and they resonated with Alan, who nodded in appreciation. For him, the performance wasn't just about advancing in the competition. It was about sharing his story and his mother's legacy with the world. And in that moment, it was clear that he had succeeded. The ripple effect Jay Allen's performance had an immediate and far-reaching impact. Social media lit up with reactions, many from viewers who had experienced similar losses in their own lives. Messages of support poured in, not just for Alan's talent, but for his courage in using such a public platform to raise awareness for Alzheimer's. His performance also had a more practical impact. The Alzheimer's Association saw a spike in donations following the broadcast, with many people moved to contribute after hearing Alan's story. His song, "Blank Stares," became a rallying cry for those affected by the disease, and Alan himself became an advocate for the cause. In interviews following his performance, Alan spoke about how much it meant to him to see his song resonate with so many people. "I wrote Blank Stares as a way to cope with my own pain, but to see it help others heal and raise awareness for Alzheimer's, it's more than I could have ever hoped for," he said. A healing journey for Alan. The Voice wasn't just a competition, it was part of a healing journey. While advancing in the show was certainly important, the true victory for him was in sharing his mother's story with the world and seeing the impact it had. In the weeks following his performance, Alan continued to perform with the same emotional intensity that had won him praise from both the judges and the audience. But it was clear that Blank Stares remained the centerpiece of his journey on The Voice. As the season progressed, Alan's vulnerability and authenticity made him a fan favorite. While the outcome of the competition was uncertain, what was clear was that Jay Allen had already won something far more important than a title. He had honored his mother's memory in the most beautiful way possible and had touched countless lives in the process.